Welcome to Project Comedy, a podcast by and for military veterans doing stand-up comedy, turning military banter into quality stand-up comedy acts. We might be veterans, but our comedy aims to get everybody laughing. It takes a while to get used to the open mic circuit, but after a few, it becomes fairly easy to predict how a gig will run. You turn up, cut to the MC, find out when you're on. For me, I'm hoping I'm not first. Have a chat with the other acts, grab a drink, let the gig start, watch the audience to see what they like and don't like. That's exactly why I don't like going first. And adapt your set so you can perform to them. Then you perform, you watch the remaining acts, congratulate each other, and go home. Ask any comedian with a bit of experience on the circuit, I'm certain they're going to agree with that description of a standard gig. But there are gigs that aren't standard. And I don't mean the horror gigs where everybody dies on their ass, the MC is 3 sheets to the wind, insulting every member of the audience. I mean gigs like Gong Shows, roasts, set lists and competitions. There's also Q&As. I had a stab at Gong Shows, set lists and competitions. My fellow ambassadors haven't. So why not have a chat about what they are, what my experiences and lessons identified are, and then as Project Comedy, all of us veterans interested in doing stand-up comedy can work out what kind of preparation we need to do to be ready to take on those kind of challenges. I'm one half of the double act that is Hawk and the Lunatic tied to him. Occasionally, audience members find out I'm called Jay Saunders, and I'm joined by the man with a beard just as impressive as his dark humour, Gabriel Murphy. How are you, mate?
Oh, that's good. Love it. Yeah. Oh, no, man, I'm grand.
Before we actually chuck into the subject, I was going to ask a question because I've been on a writing spree, mate. I don't know if you have or if you've ended up with subjects you're there going, I want to play with. Is there, and I suddenly realised something amazing about this podcast for us. What are you currently writing about? What are you thinking about doing subjects for? Because I suddenly realised if we say punchlines now on this podcast, we've copyrighted them. No other fucking comedian can use them.
Should we just say
that's how punch that you've been writing about recently?
should we just say a load of words? Like just put them in. And therefore we've copyrighted comedy. We've just done everything.
I am copywriting
We've done it all.
I am copywriting the letter E.
Yeah.
The letter E is mine. You're not allowed to have a punchline that contains the letter E.
Mate, the full-on English dictionary, I'm having it. You can get fucked. I've got the Murphy English dictionary. The irony is there. I'm happy. Hey, I'm taking
the
back
Murphy
to the Irish
English dictionary. Yeah, that's a fucking ironic, mate.
I'm taking the English language back to the Irishman. At the minute, I've just been writing a load of bullshit for university, saying about reiterating what other pricks have said because Harvard referencing is a thing to keep the fucking common person down and all that sort of shit. But I think there's one thing that I've been working on where I'm trying to trying to say how COVID is going to be the new chlamydia in a couple of years. So someone will be saying like, they went out with a girl and they've got a cough and they've tested positive for COVID. And then his mate's ripping into him and saying, you dirty bastard. Like, I told you not to go and meet her without a mask on. She was saying all this bullshit about having a tickly cough, like a fucking drink went down the wrong fucking hole. My ass, all that sort of shit. So that's what I'm working on at the minute. I'm trying to make that into a big long 5-10 minute effort.
I mean, I'm having a write at the moment. I mean, there's too much going on, but the ones I'm enjoying writing at the moment is I'm following on from what we did last week. Obviously, with the result, women's football is turning into something I'm loving right now. I hate football, but after the Lionesses got the result this weekend, it's sort of like I am watching so many dickheads look like twats. Oh, women's football
Oh,
shit. No,
mate.
it's not. It's been fucking marvelous.
Do you
And
know
I
what
am loving writing about it.
Do you know what I've loved as well? I've like I've loved someone I think said on insert social media.
Yeah.
They said like, oh yeah, the women's football are doing great, but the men's football team would still smash them. Personally, if I was the women's football team, it would be like, yeah, and we'd be the only fuckers that you could beat.
Oh, and have a look at, as you're beating us, have a look at the piece of silverware I've got and you don't, you twat.
It just amazes me, like, women are doing quite well, and then for some reason people have just got to like absolutely smash them down. I don't get
Well,
why they have to.
The one that staggered me was a friend of mine, a fellow comedian. I did my intermediate course with her. She put up a well done to the Lionesses. And what stunned me was the male hate afterwards. And the male hate wasn't because it was the women's team. It's the fact that she lives in Edinburgh and how dare she be supporting England?
I mean, I get that.
Oh, you fucking would. You fucking would.
I get it. I fully get it.
I've also been writing a lot more. I've also been writing a lot more about Hawk, because I've suddenly realized, because as you know, Hawk is my assistant's dog. He's not my pet. He's my partner. But I've realized I have.
You're gonna start fucking paying him.
Look, he's the one that's being offered paid sex, not me.
But at least the thing with him be like being a male.
But I've realised I've got no dignity with Hawk.
I was just about to say that, if you're giving him a cut, he's a male dog, so he's going to be getting more than if he was a female dog.
Oh. Well, I decided we're following character traits. I've not inherited his good looks, but he's inherited my West Country ways. Because Hawk is constantly chewing straw. The problem with that is when he has a shit, it hangs out of his backside, and I've got to pull it out from. How do I ever look dignified trying to pull straw out of a dog's arse? It is not a good look to any woman, is it? He may be the most gorgeous dog in the world, but when you're pulling a conifer out of his ring piece, that is not a good look for anybody.
Especially when the first thing you say is, all right, my lover.
Trust me, I don't think this is delightful. Please help me deal with my dog's ring piece. That is not a great chat-up line. I'm going to run you a list, mate, right, and being honest with me. How many of these kind of gigs have you ever heard of? And then we can discuss them. So which ones do you think you know about? How about gong nights? Do you want the basis of a gong night is?
Yeah, I've heard of gong nights. So basically, a comedian gets up, starts trying to be funny, and then after so many of the audience throw up like a red light or an indication that they're not happy.
Yeah.
The fella gongs, they fuck off.
I've done one, and it was. I'll be honest, mate, I wasn't ready for it on two counts. Number one, I wasn't ready for it as a comedian. Number two, I wasn't ready for it because of my PTSD. I was asked if I wanted to do it. I went, here's a nice progression. Fuck me, mate. It messed me up for a couple of days. It really messed me up for a couple of days. It's a completely different atmosphere in the room. It really is. When you do a standard open mic night, or you're doing a standard comedy night, you get up, you're in charge, and all you're about is trying to make them laugh. You're trying to make them have a good time. A gong night, the audience are in charge. The audience have the power, not the comedian. So the one I did, 15 glow sticks were handed out to the audience. You were given a grace period of 3 minutes. Nobody's allowed to vote you off the stage for the first 3 minutes. But the second that 3 minutes is up, as soon as 5 glow sticks go up, they cut your mic and they started playing Another One Hits the Dust. And you're supposed to make 7 minutes in the gig I did. I made just under 5 minutes. It was horrible. It was, yeah, I've learned a great deal about myself and what, but that power transfer where they're in charge, not you, I was not ready for that. I thought I was, but then, you know, it's funny to the audience to see a comedian walk off the stage.
Yeah. Well, the thing you've got as well, though, is like people's opinions, and it's like a polarizing joke, you know, where you think like, fuck, that's a bit strong now, and you think like, but you know, a couple of seconds later, it's like, that's actually quite fucking funny, though. You know.
Yes.
You know, you got to let it settle a little bit. And I think with something like a Gong Show, don't have to settle in time.
I mean, I took a couple of tips before I went into it. I didn't realize it was going to trigger my PTSD as much. Let's be honest about it, mate. It's sort of like when they're attacking you, and that's how it feels. It feels like the audience are attacking you. Suddenly, you're looking at an audience, and somebody's holding up something, going, basically, they hold something up that says, "Fuck off." You and I know how survivor's guilt and imposter syndrome and what have you kicks in. You suddenly see one person in a room hold up something saying "fuck off," bang, you're triggered. You are triggered straight away. But I had taken some advice beforehand, and I actually think, you know, the advice was good. Number one, have a story to tell, because if you're telling a story, you're linking through, then the audience want to hear the rest of the story. You're giving them a reason to keep on listening. And I'd also say, exactly as Jay says to us, you know, when we did the beginner's course, forget the intermediate or advanced, what have you, beginner's course, punchline rate counts. If they're not landing, you've not got them. I mean, even, right, so take the example of the gig I did. You had a 3-minute grace period. What would I have been like if I spent my first minute doing nothing but setup? They're now holding on to their stick to get rid of you. It's got to be, you've got to have the punchline rate to keep them laughing from the absolute beginning.
You've got to warm them up, isn't it, to keep the hands down, isn't it? So if they're not laughing within the first couple of seconds, they're ready to get. Basically, the longer it is, the quicker the hands are going up. So
the most important lesson I learned from that was get a laugh straight away. Every routine I've got now, so I've currently got 3 10-minute sets that I'm using. One more popular than the others, so what? I'm always learning. I make sure I get a laugh within the first 20 seconds of a set. It's get on the stage, make them laugh. I don't do what a lot of comedians do. They get up and go, what can I tell you about me? And I find that a bit of a cliche. You know, I've seen so many people get up onto the stage and go, what can I tell you about me? Because that's what I'm up here to do. Well, that's all dead air. It doesn't add anything, does it? No. So it's get into the punchline early.
I think in that last set that I did, the live one, you know, where we did it in Manchester, and I think that's why I sort of dipped out on some of the other stuff, and I said, can we all just get the thing that everyone wants to say when you hear someone with my accent? Can we all just get it out of the way? Everyone says potato, and I say, please God, can we just fucking kill Jedward?
Exactly. I mean, it's so disarming because everybody thinks they know which way you're going, and you just flip it straight away. And the laugh it got was stunning. It's sort of like, all right, my expectations have been bust already, and that's it. And that's what you want to do. It's like, you know, one of my introductions for Hawk. I love that way we go. Can everybody see the dog?
Hawk doing blackface.
For that, I thought I was having a psychotic episode. Yeah. Everybody. So I'm self-deprecating, but within 2 lines, I've hit a punchline.
Yeah. Hawk doing blackface is one of my favorite lines.
I love that. I love that. And I think I've told you about this before. I did it once, and there was a black guy sat in the front row of the audience. Nobody laughed initially. They all looked at him to see what he was going to do. And because he started laughing, they got permission. It was fucking beautiful. I ended up ripping the front row of the audience. I went, why did you laugh? Just because he did. It was a fucking joke.
Yeah. Honestly. It's how people get offended these days is so annoying.
Oh, mate. And that's part of it. But I think that's the key with a Gong Show is you've got to connect. The second you've connected, you're allowed to get away with more.
Yeah.
So again, it's another lesson I've learned now because I'm far more familiar with my material. I don't think about my material in the first couple of stages. I get on the stage, and the first thing I'm doing is looking for somebody in the audience that's enjoying themselves. So when I come to my first punchline, I aim it at them, hoping that they're going to be the person that laughs. And once you've got the first laugh, you're in. It is that connection with the audience. And if you thank them for giving you a laugh and what have you, suddenly everybody in the room has permission to laugh. I don't know why that's so odd. You go to a comedy night, but the comedian has to give the audience permission to laugh because nobody wants to be the first person to laugh, even though they're having a good time.
Yeah. And I think that was the other thing that I wanted to do with like my potato, please God, kill Jedward line, is that I wanted everyone to get on board. It was kind of like queuing everyone into me, like tuning everyone in. It's like, you're on my radio station now. Like, come on.
Absolutely.
I didn't want anyone having little shitty side conversations talking about fucking what they had for breakfast or whatever.
The other lesson I learned from it is killer lines. I normally set my setup. So if I'm doing a 10, I set myself up that I've got a killer line at a third of each way through. One of my gags I know lands and get belly laughs. So so the Hawk Blackface, the OA pedo, the Labrador's pimp. Yeah. I know they land, and they give me the real punch point. No, for a Gong Show, you need one of those every single minute because you want to prevent them from lifting their stick. Yeah. It's that it has to be a king. The guy that there's a really good mate of mine. He got through on the Gong Show. He didn't win, but fuck me, he was brilliant. Just before the 3-minute mark, just before he was allowed, before they were allowed to raise their sticks, I'm there going, he's not doing well. And then he revealed that he's got an OnlyFans account and he's making money by selling photographs of his asshole. literally before the 3-minute mark. Who was gonna raise their stick then? They all wanted to know what the fuck was going on. It was planned, but when we watched it back, we went, fucking hell, that was a genius moment. That just before 3 minutes, the OnlyFans thing came in. Fucking brilliant.
Is it weird that on my internet search history is his YouTube, his OnlyFans and Dr. Pimple Popper?
They're very similar, mate. I mean, it's normally about discharge. They're both normally about discharge. So
hemorrhoids and discharge, mate. I'm sold. Oh, that's me. That's the only reason why I drink wine is because it's grapes.
I mean, I guess for our audience, from my experience, what I would say is, if you suffer with something like PTSD or you suffer with poor self-image, you really, really need to be psychologically prepared to do a Gong Show.
You see,
do not walk.
I think I do quite well because, I mean, even though I have PTSD, my PTSD manifests itself in a very different way to yourself. I don't give a fuck about what other people think. But I could be walking around and I couldn't give a flying shite what anyone else thinks. And as for self-deprecation, like I said, my PTSD just goes skyrocketing. I think I'm the biggest piece of shit in the world when I'm at my worst.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think probably a gong show would do me quite well. I'd be all right. I'd actually,
I really thought I was prepared for it. I really
yeah,
did. But it was that moment when I saw the first glow stick go up. And the only thing, it was a trigger moment. It was a fuck off, you cunt.
yeah.
Is exactly what I knew they were going to vote me off. I knew they were going to vote me off. But the second I saw the first one, I was not psychologically prepared to see the first person. Because I've had minor heckles in my career so far. I've had a couple of people tell me that I'm not funny. I've had a couple of people tell me that my jokes are inappropriate. I'm fine with that. But that suddenly seeing that glow stick just literally felt like a knife in my heart going, fuck off, I want you to fail. And I wasn't prepared for that. So I think for many of us, we need to be prepared for that moment of it. And it's not personal. It is not personal. It's the audience are in charge. And it took me a long time to realize that. They weren't telling me to fuck off. They weren't telling me I was shit. They were in charge that night. They got to see me suffer. And that's why they went to a gong show. They want to see a comedian suffer.
You see, the other side of the gong show as well is like, I don't think you have to be the funniest either. Like, you know,
No.
it is very much like I said, you know, a lot of people will love your jokes and hate my jokes, and a lot of people will love my jokes and hate your jokes. It's a very stylized thing. Like if I go up there, if I go up there and I start talking about how much I hated ginger kids, and every single fella in there has a ginger kid, kind of fucking burn me off, aren't
yeah.
So.
But isn't that the beauty of the open mic circuit? It's and live comedy in total. That you go along, say for example, I'm doing something with Solent Comedy. Normally they book about 6 or 7 acts. No 2 acts come out with the same kind of material.
But I'd love to come down there and do that with you, actually.
Oh, mate. But if I watch live at the Apollo, because it's BBC filtered, and I hate to use that term, it's TV filtered. It's TV filtered. It's not BBC filtered. Let's be honest about it. For example, Channel 4 are exactly the same, and they are probably the home of comedy at the moment on terrestrial channels. They're TV friendly. You get the same thing over and over again. That is the joy of open mic and live comedy. You will not get 2 acts in a row that are the same. They're going to make you laugh for different reasons. What do you know about set lists then, mate? Other than thinking that a set list is what you've written on the back of your hand telling you what's the order of my gags. Have you ever heard of a set list night?
Only for music stuff. So set lists for me is all like, you know, what the band is going to be playing that night.
It's very similar. It's very similar. Say for example, here's a crap analogy. You're a DJ at a wedding do. You're a DJ at a wedding do. And what you've been given is by the bride and groom, this is the music I want you to play throughout the night. And you've got a link in between everything. A set list night is basically, it's really big up in Edinburgh. I can't wait to see what comes out of it from this Fringe Festival. There's comedy without, it's comedy without a parachute, or comedy without borders, or comedy without a safety net. Comedy without a safety net. You stand on the stage, you've done no prep. You can't prep for this. There is no way you can prep for it. And they will just chuck out a phrase or a couple of words or a word, and you've got to try and be funny about it. You're making it up on the go. And you see how comedians react to that. Can they be funny on the random? Are they going to be like we went through when you're in the barracks one night, somebody says one phrase and suddenly something fucking funny happens and we're all laughing our tits off.
Yeah, like it's just randomly something saying someone touched a kid and just shouting nonsense, and then all of a sudden that just becomes a thing. Then like, oh, nonsense. What was the other things that randomly happened apart from Naked Bar?
Naked Bar, yeah, was always a joyous moment. except for the first time, mate. I don't know. Did this ever happen to you in your career? Were you in a male-only regiment?
Well, we were always airborne, so yeah, it was predominantly male.
I remember the first time I was in a mess and somebody called out naked bar, and the two women at the bar turned around and went, "Are you fucking serious?"
No, we never did. We never shouted naked bar when any women were around, obviously. Yeah, because
Oh, mate, it was fucking ridiculous because they were the first two naked. It was sort of like, all right, we're part of the team. We're part of the team. Obviously,
Definitely.
they covered their dignity. They were grabbing cushions and coats and what have you. It was, it wasn't outrageous or anything like that, but
yeah,
I got to give them massive credit. They were the first two to get into it.
Yeah.
Clothes were coming off, and we're like, oh fuck, we've all got to do it. And we turned around, and there they are, covering all the essential areas, going, "You fucking wankers! Why have you done this to it?" It was fucking and nobody crossed the line. I
think the most random thing that I can remember is did I ever tell you about my mate called Jackpot?
I can't remember the name, mate.
So my mate Jackpot had this really, really large foreskin. And what he would do is that he would shelve like coins in his foreskin.
Something's ringing a bell.
So he'd shelve a load of coins in his foreskin, and then when he saw a girl that he'd whip his cock out, slap his cock, all these coins would go all over the floor, and he'd put both hands in the air and he'd go, "Jackpot, baby."
Oh, no. Do you know what, mate? I can't wait for us to get together again, because it's the difference from being an officer and another rank.
Oh, yeah.
We need to compare and contrast again on stage live. I want to do a set with you. I actually want to stand on the set and be your Jiminy Cricket, translating you.
And I remember this one time, this fella, he chopped off with this girl, and he was the biggest tramp you'd have ever met in your life. But he was charm.
We had a boardroom
like you wouldn't believe. Like he went, he went out and he got Tesco's own like shower gel, Tesco's own jeans, Tesco's own runners, Tesco's own fucking t-shirt and all that. He went back to the room, he got a shower, smelled like shite. He smelled and he looked like he'd just been kicked through fucking Tesco. All right. And he chops off with this girl who owns an equestrian center.
What?
And we're there, I was just having a laugh and a chat, a drink, and all this sort of stuff, and getting to know each other. Everyone's getting to know each other. Jackpot comes up, whips his fucking dick out. Jackpot, baby. She's looking like it's the worst thing that's ever happened in her life. And my mate from Tesco's goes, yeah, that's Jackpot. It's kind of what he does. It's just like, how is a girl with an equestrian center with all of these animals riding a fella who's fucking sponsored by Tesco?
I remember, oh God, so when I was a young baby officer, I actually managed to trap once for the crappiest reason ever known to NATO. I trapped...
You were in the Navy.
Fuck off, cunt. She was a very, very well-to-do young lady.
Sorry.
And I had been tasked to look after her at this cocktail party. And at one point, it was getting a bit crowded so we were up on the forecastle, where the main gun is and missile battery are on the front of the ship. And I just thought, we'll need to huddle over here a second. And she got a lot closer to me than she had been for the rest of the evening. And she went, "Oh my God, your aftershave. It's amazing. You smell," and I went, "Oh yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's a little bit exclusive." What was I wearing, mate?
Go on.
Lynx Africa aftershave. Because the circle she had been in, she'd only smelt things like Aramis and Paco Rabanne and blah, blah, blah. I was wearing Lynx Africa aftershave. She had never smelt it before, and she thought it was unique. I'm going to take it.
That just goes to prove the adverts.
It was the Lynx effect. It was the Lynx effect.
Oh.
Go on. I'm going to try it on you, mate. I'm going to try it on you. I've set list.
Go on.
We like to think of ourselves as funny and make shit up as we go along, as we do in every single podcast. If I'll set myself a private timer here. I'm going to chuck a couple of random words at you.
Ah, fuck.
And you see if you can take it anywhere. See if you can riff on it. You game for this? And you do the same to me a little bit later on.
Go on.
Coming live from Project Comedy Podcast. Our first of the stage is Mr. Gabriel Murphy. His opening topic is heat waves.
Heat waves, fucking hell. Jesus Christ. What this fucking heat wave has done for me, I've realized I am 50% fucking ice cream. I have been dying lately, and every other cunt's going out there going, isn't it fucking lovely? No, it's not fucking lovely. I can't breathe. I sweat when I'm fucking doing the dishes. I sweat when I'm fucking brushing my teeth. I've had a shower, and I feel like I'm sweating more now, and it's probably because I've put on a little bit of weight since. But, you know, I think I'm sweating more now than when I actually did in Iraq. But at least the difference is that when I was in Iraq, we just step out the shower and just get sprayed with a load of fucking sand. Whereas here, I'm just getting sprayed with a load of fucking Asbo wearing dickheads. Fucking Lynx effect. We had a thing lately as well, actually, where in university, everyone was saying about what the favorite season is, and everyone's saying fucking summer. I said fucking winter because this is fucking killing me. I can't wait. I'm a big fella. I can't wait to wear a pair of jeans and a leather jacket again. I'm fucking. Summer does not do it for me. I hate it. Summer and nothing decent happens in summer either. You know, all the best things happen outside of summer. Paddy's Day happens in fucking spring, technically. Halloween, where you eat all the fucking chocolates and you drink all the rum and everyone dresses out as a sexy something. You know, it's brilliant. Fucking Halloween is amazing. It happens in winter, isn't it? Technically winter, and fucking Christmas. You know, all that sort of shit. Everything happens best in outside of summer, but everyone thinks fucking summer is amazing because people are wearing fucking next to nothing. Pisses me off.
Go on, I'm changing your subject. Bad sex.
Bad sex. Okay, no, I don't think I've ever had bad sex. anytime a fella can say that he's had bad sex is like the bad thing as well is like a fella admitting that he's had bad sex is like basically saying I didn't turn up to the show because for a girl's just got to lie there basically. I mean, I'm not pouring, I'm not saying it's like all one way. Obviously you've got to consent, you know, but effectively girls don't have to do much. As say a fella had bad sex, and it's the annoying thing as well because we've got to put so much effort in. I really wouldn't bother. I'd just do mutual masturbation. You know, everyone's done in 2 minutes. You know, you don't have to pretend anything. You know, you don't have to say falsities. You don't have to like climb in and around each other and, you know, get each other all physically disgusting. It's just nice. It's clean. Mutual masturbation. It's the way ahead.
That is Gabriel Murphy's first ever set list live on the Project Comedy Podcast. Mate, I'll give you a chance to think a couple of things up. But why not? You know, you think of a couple of subjects and we'll take a pause for 1 second to let you know how you can join Project Comedy. Are you a veteran or even still serving and think you'd like to give stand-up comedy a go? Then why not join us in Project Comedy? Visit the Project Recce website, that's projectrecce.org, then click on how it works. You'll find a Register Here button in the Project Comedy section. Fill that in and the HQ staff will soon get you connected with the Project Comedy community and its weird and wonderful ambassadors. You'll be invited to our green rooms, where if you want it, we can train you in the basics. If not, you can just come along and have a laugh with us and see what we're up to and what it gives us. The only thing I could think of then was when we were talking about heat wave with you. Who the fuck can eat mashed potato during the summer? That is fucking evil.
I know. It's like spuds
the Irishman needs his mashed spuds. The Irishman needs his mashed spuds during the summer.
Spuds are the best vegetable in the world, and in fucking heat waves it gets reduced to fucking potato salad, and that's it. You don't see a potato outside a potato salad in summer.
Go on.
I've actually just thought of a couple more things for like fucking for bad sex.
Go on.
Like, the most annoying thing about like bad sex is it's kind of like your really shit Google review, isn't it? And it's there. It's there in your face. So it's like, you're obviously spent, you're sweating, you're happy, you're full of all this like emotional dump, and you're feeling quite vulnerable as a man. And you look at a girl and you say like, "Oh, was it all right for you?" And she's there clearly disappointed. It's like, yeah, 1 star.
Mate, thank fuck Tinder doesn't have a TripAdvisor rating underneath it, because that would be fucking awful. 3 of our matches said that he was absolutely shit in bed.
Can you imagine that?
That's gonna be the new dating app. That is gonna be the new dating app where reviews are left on your performance.
Date review.com. Fucking hell. Yeah. 3 out of 4 stars. You got 5 stars because he paid for the meal. You got 1 star because the sex was absolute shit, but 3 stars bumped it back up again because his finger game was amazing. that fella that fella is like Mark Knopfler, but his cock's dead small.
Oh Jesus! Of the other types of gigs, I've only done one or the other, which is doing a competition. Competition gigs. So, as you know, a couple of weeks ago, I entered the South Coast Comedian of the Year. That was a very different kind of gig to go to. Yeah. Really different kind of gig to go to. The preparation, I'm going to say, is pretty much the same. It's like doing a standard gig, but there's a different kind of pressure on it. I'm really appreciative to the guy that ran it, but they are rigged. Let's be honest about it. They are rigged by luck of the draw. The guy that came second, the gig I did, he was first on, and the guy that ran the gig turned around and went, "I had to triple check the results. Nobody normally gets through on a heat if they're first on." And that's horrible, isn't it? It's sort of like, so when we arrived, there was random pieces of paper on the table. You had to pick it up, and that told you where you were in the running order. If you get 1 or 2 at one of those gigs, no, you're not going through normally. He was brilliant, though. He warmed up the audience brilliantly. He got some great laughs in. But, even the organizer, he's a big guy. He's a big guy. I mean, he's very well connected. One of his gigs that he ran very recently, he had the likes of Lou Sanders, Reginald D. Hunter, Lucy Porter. And this is just in one weekend. And I'm not even talking about the headliners. So he's well connected. And for him to say, if you're first on, you don't get selected. Yeah, we've got to realise it's a rigged environment, not because of the organizer, but by the dynamics of an audience. If you're in the first third, let's get used to the fact that you're probably not going to get through.
It's a shame that, like, it'd be good if they did like a review after, so like they let all five play out, and then they did like a quick sort of like, this was his best joke, all five.
If I was going to change this guy's format, and I'm in no position to do it because he's an expert in his field, he's been doing this for a while, the only thing I would have changed about the night is actually get every one of the acts back on stage and let them have a Q&A, which is one of the other comedy formats we want to talk about. Let them up on the stage and the audience can ask questions of the comedians and see if they can turn them funny, almost like a set list where they've got to actually try and be funny back, to remind them of who they've seen and enable them to have a second voice before the audience votes, because that's what counts. It's the audience votes.
Or could you do it in like a staircase method? So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, have a break, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then say, guys, do you fancy voting?
Yeah, but the thing is, somebody's still got to be on stage first. And let's be honest about it. And any comedy night, the guy on first has the hardest job. It should be the MC. The MC should be the person that has the hardest night. But we know it is the first act because they're the people that set the tone for the night. They have the hardest job. I'm really lucky. I've only had to open twice. And I got lucky on both of my openings because I got a great reaction. But I'm lucky. I've got an advantage. I walk onto the stage with a dog. Bang. Who's going to hate me? Because otherwise I'm going to report them to the RSPCA.
Yeah, I think it was when you guys came up to Manchester and that, I jumped up first, and I think that was partly like my old army attitude and everything. It's like, just get it over and fucking done with. It was like, I'll go first. I'll just get it over and fucking done with, get it out the way, and then I can sit down and relax and enjoy the night and stuff. I think I'd prefer to be out first, to be honest.
I used to. I mean, I just wanted it over and done with in the early days. But as Jay taught us about the connection, I like watching the audience, so I can tailor myself. So I can either do it clean or I can do it dirty. And I'm not a particularly dirty comedian, but when I say clean or dirty, am I going to be dropping F-bombs, C-bombs, etc., etc.? If they're offended by language, then I bring it back, and I don't end up. It's even the Hawk blackface gag, I will tailor to an audience. I'll be there going, my preference is to go, there's one thing I don't understand. Can somebody tell me why they gave me a fucking golden retriever doing blackface? If I sense they don't like bad language, I just change it back to, can somebody explain to me why they gave me a golden retriever doing blackface? The gag is the same, but the fucking gives me an emphasis on it, so it gets a bigger laugh. So I like watching an audience to decide when I'm going to drop that stuff in.
Yeah, I did. It does still hurt me how you fucking constant and invite me to the fucking clean night, by the way.
You and I can get dirty as we like next time we meet, mate. Promise. I've always fancied Irish guys.
Fucking filthy.
The problem is,
that sounded a lot more filthy than what it was actually intended to be.
The one thing I did notice in retrospect with the competition night was it's about bangers. It's if you've got one of those punchlines where the audience go either ooh or they just absolutely die laughing at the gag.
Yeah.
So I dropped it. I finished with my OAPedo gag, and the room went wild for it. You need to have, in a competition, you need to have a gag that lands almost like that's the gag they're going to take away from the night. That's the one they're going to tell their friends. Am I making sense? So in a competition, you need one of those gags that sticks in the memory.
Yeah. The big banger at the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, my big banger at the finish was probably that Black Incest Now.
Oh, Black Incest Now, I still fucking love that one, mate. I mean, that's more than a year old, but I still fucking love it. It's still, nobody expects that punchline. I fucking adore it. It is one of the best punchlines I've ever, especially because you got the entire audience there with their fists in the air and they're supporting the most outrageous punchline that's coming at them. It's a joy, absolute joy. Go on then, mate. Are you going to challenge me?
Oh, your shit. Yeah.
Yeah, go on then. Give me something to... So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to pretend that I can do a set list. Let's see what Gabriel Murphy can offer me. This is going to be terrifying.
What I can offer you. Right. Variations in coffee.
What the fuck is going on in coffee shops? You walk into one and I just want, look, I'm biased here. I only like a couple of coffees. I like an Americano, occasionally a fucking cappuccino. Why do you have to give somebody that's selling you a product the full fucking ingredient recipe? I want a mocha choca, no oat fucking latte with additional 5 pumps of, what the fuck? They're the experts in fucking coffee. Just give me a coffee, I'll have it. If they want to make a suggestion, then I might take it up. But why? It's fucking coffee. It's a roasted bean that's been grounded up and just been pissed through with hot water. Why the fuck do we have to have all of these variations? It scares me when I go to the fucking supermarket and see there's 37 different types of milk. Am I going to have the barista turn around to me and go, hello, have a look at our range of fucking milks. Which one do you want? I want the one that came out of a fucking cow, you twat. That's why it's called milk. I don't get why there is so much variation in fucking coffee. It's just hot bean juice that keeps me awake. That's its only fucking function. I can't think of any more on that. It just pisses me off, mate. I just have Americano and cappuccinos if I need some calcium.
I love back in the day when we had tea and coffee. And then I honestly think society took like a massive down to when we started introducing cappuccinos. And apparently the only difference
we used to socially judge people. We used to socially judge people by the number of sugars they had in their tea or coffee. Now we socially judge them on what fucking milk goes into it. I don't understand what's happened to the world.
I don't get how you can milk a fucking almond. So. But
mate, I've had many sexual experiences, but I'm yet to milk an almond.
What gets me is like, the only difference between a cappuccino and a latte is that which end the milk goes in. It's like your milk goes in first. Your milk goes in first and a latte. Your milk goes in last as a cappuccino. Whatever. You're thinking it tastes different?
No, there is a difference, mate. There is a difference. Because in a latte, the milk goes in and it stays still. A cappuccino has been frothed up. It's the difference between swallowing and gargling.
So no difference. It still tastes like cum.
Go on, chuck me another one. Chuck me another one. Let's see if I can do something.
Music over the decades.
Music over the decades has been brilliant. It's the people that fucking hate you if you move out of your own fucking decade that really fuck me off. Or say if you like one type of music, you can't like another. I mean, for fuck's sake, I like everything. Or I hate everything as well. I like a bit of hip-hop. I like a bit of thrash. I like a bit of country and western. Yes, I like Taylor Swift. I also like listening to fucking Mozart. It doesn't make me a gay nonce just because I move between music barriers. I do feel guilty about following certain musicians that have turned out to be massive predators. I mean, for fuck's sake, I loved the album Bad. Now I look at Bad and go, Bad has a different kind of title now. How fucking bad was Michael Jackson? You cunt. You've destroyed many of my favorite. Man in the Mirror Was he jizzing over himself as he's thinking about a kid? No, I can't listen to Michael Jackson anymore, but I'll listen to Shania Twain. I don't impress anybody much, but she impresses me by the fucking minute, because I'd love to crawl all over it. But why do we have to be so, oh, it's my kind of music, you're not allowed to like that kind of music? Why not? It's only sounds. I might like the sound of, I might like the sound of sex from somebody else, but I prefer the sound of somebody's missus doing it next to me because it reminds me of what it used to fucking sound like. I don't get why you're so passionate about your own genre of music. It annoys me. Oh, mate.
Okay. I love talking about music and everything like that because everyone's so militant about it, and it's like the music I like is brilliant. The music I like is brilliant, and if anyone talks to me about any other music, it's shit. Everyone has that opinion, and it's fucking hilarious.
I'll turn around and say it now, and I might lose listeners for it. I like Coldplay occasionally. I like Nickelback occasionally.
Mate, I love Nickelback.
I mean, Rockstar is still one of my favorite. If I want to feel better about myself, I listen to Rockstar. I love it. It's fun. But oh no! You listen to Nickelback. You don't like real rock. Of course, I like real rock. I still love fucking Led Zeppelin, but it's still a fucking brilliant song. It makes me feel something. It's done what it's supposed to do. Doesn't mean so. Right, I'll really destroy my credibility here. My favorite band of all time is Level 42. There is something about Level 42 that I absolutely adore. Does that mean I love every track by Level 42? Of course not. Some of them were shit. So I just like, they had a greater frequency of songs that connected with.
So I'm a big metalhead. So I love metalcore, death metal, heavy metal, thrash metal. Love it. Absolutely love it. The amount of people who are shocked when they say, "Oh, who's your favorite artist?" and I say Barry White. Barry White.
Yes.
Barry White.
What's wrong with that?
He was an absolute magician. So,
if I'm gonna have, and it's not gonna happen, mate, as you well know, you've seen me, right? But if I were to have a long, loving sexual night with somebody, I'm not going to be doing it. Yes, exactly.
Banging a bit of Barry.
I mean, I can't remember their names, mate. It's a PTSD. I can see them now. The guys that have all got the masks on.
Masks.
They all, they're heavy rock.
Oh,
I'm not going to use thrash or what have you because I don't know the difference. Slipknot. You're not going to have a sexual encounter night to a Slipknot soundtrack, are you?
I don't know.
I mean, that would be a scene from fucking Taken 18 plus.
Snuff was quite a sexual song. How many listeners are just going onto Spotify now going Slipknot Snuff?
They're waiting for Dan and Jamie to come back, and they'll be listening to K-pop and take that, and that will suddenly bring a few people back to us.
Oh, mate, if you're going into the whole sexual side of life as well, baby metal for me.
Here's one for you then. Not that we're at that profile yet. But it could happen as Project Comedy grows and what have you. A roast night. Now, I've seen a couple of these roast nights. People will know of roast through things like Comedy Central and things like that. There's Roast Battle on Comedy Central, but there are the roasts of so-and-so. They actually take, those are the ones, the different kind of nights where you can prepare. You've got your target, and then you've got all the other guests. And you can take the fucking piss.
I think that I would do really good on a roast night. Can I offer up
Yes,
something?
You would.
Can I offer up something that I would love to give yourself? Do you know how I say
Mate, I was going to ask. I was going to ask the question. Right, if you were roasting me tonight, what are you going to roast me for?
All right. So I'll give you a little bit of a setup to it. You know how I compare myself to the love child of Charles Bronson and Brian Blessed.
I'm already starting to be nervous.
I'd introduce you as when you order Christopher Walken off Wish.
Oh, you fucker. Oh, you fucker. I love it, though. I fucking love it. That's brilliant.
That'd be one of my big things for you.
Fucking hell! I don't know where to go after that.
I feel quite bad. I feel quite bad, but I reckon a lot of people. I reckon there are a lot of people that would get a laugh out of a lot of people if you did it.
I actually feel insulted and complimented at the same time.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm sorry.
Go on then. Keep on going. If you were roasting me, what else would you roast me on?
Oh, dear me. Honestly, I think that'd be my big one for you.
But isn't this the key to a roast? The key to
a
roast.
Don't get me wrong. I could go down all the lazy things. You know, like the stereotypical things of where you come from, the fact that you know your first sexual experience has probably been with like 5 of your closest relatives, all that sort of stuff.
Ow! I'm surprised you've not had a go at the officer thing yet. That's the thing that's got me. You've not had a go at the officer thing yet.
Again, that's the lazy line to go down. But like I said, I think the Wish Christopher Walken thing. I think I was the one. It's the one that I've been thinking of for a while, and it's like, how do I bring this up, and how do I say it to you? But
I can't believe you kept your powder dry for that fucking long.
Mate, no, I put a lot of thought and effort into my gags and my gigs and stuff, and it's when it all sounds very off the cuff, right? But it's not. I've had this in the bank for a couple of months.
I think I want our listeners to realise that, though. I mean, even though we've ended up sort of like, so we've thrown a couple of topics to each other and we've ended up trying to be funny about it. The only reason you can be funny about something is because it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
You have to work on your set. What works, what doesn't work. Even when I threw you Heatwave, your brain went, I've been thinking about heat waves, and you ran back to what you've been thinking about, and that's funny. It's not pure improv, is it? It is the fact that you've got into the habit of thinking what's funny and what's not funny, and you also self-edit. You turn around and go, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. It's like I've been trying to run a bit of a thing about how someone accused me of being racist. So he was
right.
He was a mixed race fella who's an ex-veteran as well, and he was living at my place rent free for 8 months, and he got pissed off because I was saying a load of fucking Irish English jokes. To which then I was like, you do realize that England and Irish aren't racist, But anyway, so he was accusing me of being racist, and then I'd kind of I was thinking about how I'd quite like to revisit him now, because I've got 2 black cats. I clearly can't be racist because I've got 2 black cats, and I give them high-end food. I don't give them Felix or anything like that. It's good quality food I give them.
Because I don't know what I would do to roast you. I don't think I'd see you sort of like.
Mate, you've got so much that you could roast me over. I mean,
I know, but they'd all be they'd all be exactly as you said before. If I started doing my research, they would be so obvious. I mean, other than calling you Mr. Upside Down Head, the fact that you've
that's
got
the one
more
that
hair on your
gets
chin.
me the most, right? Why would I want my head on upside down? So my eyes are below my mouth and my nose. My nose is upside down. My mouth is in my fucking forehead. Why the fuck would I want that?
Yeah, but then again, mate, you look better looking that way round, because if I had to look at your mouth, I think I'd be sick.
Mate, the annoying thing as well is the fact that if I did shave, I look like a giant baby with Down syndrome. I am well aware of how much of a fucking mongo I look. Nobody would be asking me what my name is. Nobody would be asking me what my name is, what my band is. Everyone would be asking me what my favorite color, my favorite flavor crayon is.
This would be my problem roasting you, because the only thing I could roast you for is, will you have a look at Gabriel Murphy, please? He's disguising his face to discover to hide how fucking disgusting he is. Yeah. But he's got a gorgeous missus and a kid in tow, and I don't have either. It's just pointing out that he clearly is better looking than me when he looks like a fucking baked potato that's been done in a microwave.
The other one that irritates me is when people say, like, "Oh, you look like a Viking." What do you mean, fucking dead? Because all of a sudden, just because I have a fairly big beard, you must want to be a Viking, don't you? No, it's just because I look like a fucking absolute spastic if I don't have a beard.
Mate, I've got to share this one with you. I had the ultimate Tinder troll the other day. I haven't matched on Tinder for ages, and I mean ages. I've not matched on Tinder for at least 4 months. This woman matched with me. I did all the good gentlemanly things. I reread her profile and asked her about one of her favorite hobbies. The only line I got back from her was, "You look like an Aldi AIDS advert," and broke the conversation.
See, that makes me feel better about what I said.
Fucking hell, man. I'm going to have to use it in a set. I'm an Aldi AIDS advert. It was actually I was a little AIDS advert. And it's sort of like, fucking, if you want to put the boot in, that's the way to put the boot in.
Mate, you could just come up with like loads of self-deprecating one-liners. And it's like how I've been described lately. And I'll little AIDS advert.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? It's the best heckle I've ever had. When I did a gig at the beginning of the month. And there's this bit in my set, one of my sets I do where I go, look, I know I'm not a catch. The only way I'm going to be described as a catch is accompanied by the words chlamydia and syphilis. This girl in the front row went, "I actually think you're hot." It's the best heckle I've ever fucking had in my life. I didn't know what to fucking do.
See, the other one I was thinking of, like, doing on a self-deprecating thing of for me was the irony of Shrek being a white fella.
He's not white, he's green.
Exactly. But the irony is because I'm Irish.
So he looks like you on Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
Except, Shrek doesn't wear a green afro wig as well. Yeah. Come on, where does that come from? What on Paddy's Day, why do so many people wear green afro wigs? You're the least African American, sort of like Caribbean African, populated country in the entire of Europe, but suddenly you've adopted the fucking afro. Where the fuck did that come from?
I'd say 75% of Irish people, back in the day, had like a tight side parting, And I think the vast majority of them now have like a fucking top knot because everyone's a twat.
Oh, I haven't been back to Ireland for ages. Please tell me they've all turned into fucking hipsters. That would be funny.
No, it's not hipsters. Everyone thinks that they're on Love Island.
Oh no! Everywhere you go in the world, they want to be Irish rather than English. I've had it my entire career. Oh yeah. My family are Welsh Dutch or Scots Irish or Welsh German, and what? Nobody wants to admit they're from English origin.
I think it's because if you admit that you're from England, it's racist now. So
it just look at the fucking draw, mate. It was where I was born, and then don't forget, I was put up for fucking adoption. Even my own mother didn't want to accept me for being English. For fuck's sake, mate.
It's because they clearly knew that you weren't racist. That's all. You're not a racist bigot, therefore you can't be English. We'll adopt you out and give you a chance at getting some.
So, what kind? When we go through the different types of gigs we've spoken about, what do you think you would like to do of those? Of things like a set list, a road.
I think a set list.
What was the first one we spoke about? Gong Show, things like that.
I think a gong show would do quite well now.
I can see that.
Mainly because I don't care what other people think. I might not do very well in it, but I think I would personally do well. I wouldn't have any issues.
For you, so I'm going to blow. This is going to sound like I'm blowing my own trumpet, mate, and I'm not, because
you are.
out of the Project Comedy Ambassadors, I've ended up doing more gigs than most. That's all I'm saying. I've done more gigs than most.
Yeah. You're better.
Fuck off! I didn't say that. But if you were offered one of those nights, would you take it, or would you say I need a bit of time on the open mic circuit first, or would you be willing to just give it a fucking go?
I don't know. I think I'd just give it a go. I think I honestly think anyone who's wanting to get on the circuit or anything like that, like, don't hold back and don't take negative criticism as a thing. It's people are always going to put people down. How's the best way to say it? I think people are always going to put you down before they build you up. So there's always going to be more
one of the most valuable things
than there is positive criticism. So I think if you get a chance to do it.
I think it's one of the best things we were taught on our intermediate course. Yes, it's yet another advert for Jay Sodigar. Fucking, he's in Edinburgh and just getting pissed with his mates now. But when he turned around on the intermediate course and said, keep a log, that's made a world of difference to me now. Really has, because I would have done things like the competition or the Gong Show or my set list and been really negative about it. But actually, reviewing it a couple of days later, I've learned so much from it. And exactly as you say, if you're offered a gig, take it. It's an experience, because we all need bad gigs. If you have nothing but good gigs, you're going to be destroyed by your first bad gig. So just get out there and try it.
And you can see that in all walks of life as well. Like, especially with I love martial arts and stuff. And you'll see these like young prodigies who come through, and they get fed these like really easy gigs where they're just getting laughs a minute, or wins a minute, and then they get a really hard fight, and then they get knocked out or get absolutely battered, and the crippled, and they're off the circuit. Then they're on to the lower level of the circuit when they had all these like stars in their eyes. Just go out there, and I think Jimmy Carr said it. I think he said he's written so many bad gags that he's so used to it now, or something. He was something along those lines, wasn't it? And it was just like, he's written more failures. He's failed more times than anyone else probably in the business. So go out there, be brave. You know, if you're trying something,
And
take it out.
remember,
If it doesn't work,
that fact
if it
that
doesn't work, do it
just because
again.
it isn't a normal gig, just because it isn't a normal gig doesn't mean you can't do well.
Yeah.
Just because it's a great, it is a normal gig, you could bomb. Get out there and try it. I think that's the perfect opportunity to wrap up the episode. Gabe, thank you so much. Hopefully we're going to be able to start organising something where Project Comedy get back together again. I've got my fingers crossed for a little project that's in the pipelines at the moment. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks to Gabe. And as always, we'll finish off the standard ways we do. Send you a couple of links, see how you can follow Project Comedy. So until next time.
If you want to see what we're actually like on stage, please have a look at our YouTube channel. Search for Project Comedy, Veterans Doing Stand-Up, and look for our black and white logo that's exactly the same as the one we use for this podcast. You can also now follow us on Twitter. We can be found at Proj Comedy. That's at PROJ Comedy. I'm me, Jay Saunders. I can be found on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter if you look for Comic Jay Saunders. That's all one word with the letter J in the middle. Comic Jay Saunders. Thanks again to everyone that's taken part in this episode. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to the Project Comedy Podcast. Please support our veterans as they continue their comedy journeys. To find out more, including gigs our veterans are doing, please search for the Project Comedy group on Facebook, where you'll also find links to Project Recce, the veterans charity that makes Project Comedy possible.